When I was the first meeting on Saturday,
We're ready on the left. Are we ready on the right? Good evening. This Colfax City Council meeting of August 14th, 22nd is now in session.
You know what? I think I may have taken your.
Oh, okay. Roll call. City clerk, would you take the roll call?
I see
This
this.
is Van
That's
Gate.
just the type of thing. That's okay.
Councilmember Burris. Present. Councilmember Hilberg.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Loman.
Here.
Councilmember McCauley. Here. Mayor Douglas.
Present. Okay, item 1C, public comment. We now have public comment on any item that is not on the agenda. Not on the agenda. Anybody? I see somebody from Dutch Flat, no comment?
Channel. Yeah, my name is Jerry Rio. I live in Dutch Flat. I am on the Placer Sierra Fire Safety Council, and hopefully when you get done with your business. Oh, I need a mic. Okay. So I'm Jerry Rio. I'm from Dutch Flat, California. I'm on the Placer Sierra Fire Safe Council, and I'm hopeful when you get done with your business and you turn your beautiful chambers back over to us, which we appreciate, that some of you will sit around for the Fire Safe Council meeting. That's my only pitch.
Any other public comment that's not on the agenda? Hearing none, we move to item 1D, general municipal election. We are here to discuss and consider adoption of the recommended resolution that we cancel the election and appoint two council members.
And a treasurer.
And treasurer. Okay. Do we have another public comment?
Comment on this?
This is the time to speak about this proposal.
Yes.
Yes.
Is there a time limit?
I believe it's currently 5 minutes.
Okay, that should be, I should be able to cover it. I'm Michael Garabedian. I usually speak for Placer County tomorrow, and I'm here to talk about the unfortunate, really bad law that looks like you've got on your agenda to consider tonight. It's very unfortunate, I think, that you're planning, if you were to do this. I'm concerned enough about it that learning about it, I first saw it happening in Lincoln at the same time as this election. And I want to do something to try to change that law. I mean, I have 15 years of working in the legislature, 5 years for Senator Roseanne Vuitch, our first woman state senator, and then in the New York legislature about 10 years. And I want to apply what I learned to try to do something about this. I've begun the research. Senator Milton Marks of San Francisco reenacted the entire elections code at a certain point. And this was in the code that passed in that bill, but I don't know if it was in the law or not before that. So of course, it's not mandatory. I think you all understand that. And I don't know if you did an extension of time to file here. It looks like I haven't followed this closely, but it looks like the AJ didn't list these when in their listing of some of this kind of these vacancies. But I also don't know if you did an extension of time to file. For instance, where I used to live some time back in Citrus Heights, they did an extension of time from extending it to August 14th through a notice, an opportunity to get involved. So, of course, the election is a major function of democracy. I mean, that's
Right.
why we're here and have these flags.
Amen.
Because we had to fight the royalty, and they're the people that got their grants, their land grants, and that carried their royalty and their titles with them here. We all know the story of the Tories and what we had to do to make that flag and be here. So it causes me a great deal of stress to think that the people might go on the ballot without having a chance for people to do a number of things. First of all, know that there's nobody running against them, but they have a chance to vote and say, well, I'm going to vote for that person. Or they could say, they could just not vote. If you're following any election closely, you know how many people voted. And if somebody didn't vote for something, that's a fall off. That might mean something. It might not mean anything, but it's important to know. But the major thing it did for me in one example was when I saw nobody was running against a particular person, I thought, well, gee, I should run against that person next time because I don't agree with what they're doing. But there are all kinds of reasons a person should be on the ballot, go before the voters, and do what they need to do to campaign if they want to. So this book I have here, The Shortest History of Democracy, I'm going to read the last line in it, which I think it really sums up my grave concerns. Democracy shows us that no man or woman is perfect enough to rule unaccountably over their fellows or the fragile lands and seas in which they dwell. So I want to thank you for this opportunity to raise these issues. And I look forward to your discussion and figuring out what to do with what I see as a dilemma. Thanks very much.
Okay, thank you. Any other public comment? I see a former mayor sitting. Any comment from the?
Needs his time.
Good evening. I'm Tom Parham. I'm a resident. I agree with everything that gentleman said. In 2010, this happened. The incumbents were the only ones running. And I was very upset by it. And it motivated me to run 2 years later. So, that's the option. If you don't like what's happening, get involved. The reason I didn't run this time was I supported the two that were already running, and I'm happy with the way things are. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Seeing none, we will move on and discuss. City council, do we discuss that? Discuss city council on this motion. Discuss the item.
I think that we're in a really unfortunate situation, and I'm very upset that we're put in this situation, that we don't have the interest from people to have another person contending for a seat on council. I know that it would have meant a lot, especially to the two people who are serving very well right now, to have the opportunity to go through an election and actually be elected. And I think that that is kind of being stolen from them. And I'm very sad to see that happen. And unfortunately, I think we're also going to be good stewards of the taxpayer dollars. And the only way I see it, we have a choice to spend $3,000 or not spend $3,000 at this point because the interest isn't there. So that's my perspective.
I think we did our due diligence in not only spreading the word, but also I think most all of us reached out to people within the community personally to see if they would be interested. So I think we really did everything we can to gain interest and get other people to engage. And if they don't want to, or they're happy with what's going on, in my opinion, that is them making a vote. So
Carolyn, this means that you're going to have to go convince all those high schoolers to run for office, right?
I know, because y'all didn't answer that email.
I answered it, but you got to it first, so.
Well, good, you can go instead.
We'll talk about it after.
First off, I philosophically agree with what was said. But on the other side of that coin, we followed the procedure that we have. Only two of us met the deadline. And I don't think it's fair to anybody if we go out again and seek new people to run. Yogi Berra said once, nobody cares about apathy anymore. And I kind of think that's where we are. I don't know if it's apathy or satisfaction, and we'll never know. But I don't think it's appropriate to go against what we voted on before and the ordinances and the procedures that we set up to go out again and reach for more candidates. I came in here not knowing for sure if I could even vote on this because I'm one of the two. And I was told that, yes, I can vote. But having heard from this gentleman here, I start to feel uncomfortable a little bit about voting for this. Again, because I am one of the two people. But I think we did follow due diligence, and I think we should just carry forward with not having an election.
And just as a point of clarification, while you do have the right to vote, you also have the right to abstain if that's what you feel is morally just. So just want to make sure everyone's on the same page.
Sean.
I agree with you also, but we did put it out there. I reached out to many people to try and spur interest. And I hope, like Tom said, that it shows that people are happy with what's going on right now. We have had lots of candidates in the past. I know me and Trinity have gone up against over 10 people each time. So I think it's probably prudent to just go ahead and approve this. But I do appreciate what your comments. But we are a small community, and I think if people were unhappy, yeah, small budget, and if people were unhappy, we would have more candidates applying for sure.
I think it's another benefit that we essentially get a head start on what we might not have been able to do until November and can start thinking in a little longer term about what we're doing. Forgot to mention that. And I wonder if you could again, what was the name of that book? Was it Short or Shortest?
The Shortest History of Democracy, 4,000 Years of Self-Government, a Retelling for Our Times by John King, KBA.
Thank you. Okay, well, it's my turn to comment, I guess, and then we'll be done. Referring to books, one of my favorite books was one written by JFK, Profiles in Courage. And the preface to that was, all that is necessary for evil to triumph is for enough good people to do nothing. And so this apathy that has temporarily invaded our community means that we've all tried to get people to run. And we're all in agreement that we did our part. I even went to a bunch of bars trying to get people to vote. I mean, I was desperate.
We deserve better than desperate.
But I guess we're done with our discussion. It's time. Do I hear a motion?
I'll move approval of the staff recommendation.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Do we need a roll call?
Probably appropriate. I'll request a roll call.
Okay, roll call. Put you to work.
Councilmember Burris,
Aye.
Councilmember Hilberg,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Loman,
Aye.
Councilmember McCauley,
Aye.
Mayor Douglas.
Aye. Motion carries.
Turn us over to Patrick.
Item 11.
Yeah, motion to adjourn.
At 6:15, we are adjourned.
You know, John.